Welcome back, dear children. Myself Sir Sunil, your physics teacher. Good morning to one and all. How are you, students? Fine. I hope you all are fine and also you all are safe. So last class we have started our new unit, force and pressure, unit number 3. Okay. Yesterday I told you that we will start today's topic by turning effect of a force, by a small concept, turning effect of a force. We have read yesterday that in our book, okay, you read, no? Okay, you are good children, I know, you already read 5 times, okay. So anyway, yesterday we read that if a force is applied on a stationary rigid body, if a force is applied on a stationary rigid body, it starts moving in a straight line in the direction of force, as shown in figure here. Okay, students, as shown in figure. The body starts to move in a particular direction, in a straight line direction. Okay, it starts to move. Now, what we are going to discuss here, now if the body is not free to move, don't think that all the body, every body will start to move if we apply force. Sometimes if we apply a force to a stationary body or a rigid body, it won't move. What will happen? It will start to rotate in there itself. Okay, students? Did you observe any time? If you are not giving sufficient force to a particular rigid body, it does not start to move in a particular direction. It will be make rotation there itself. Okay, here we are going to discuss that situation, what is the reason behind it. Clear? Now we are going to discuss, now if the body is not free to move by applying the force, it is pivoted at a point at O in the center and a force is applied at a suitable point A. It begins to turn about the point O. Okay, students, the vertical axis passing through the point O about which the body turns is called axis of rotation. Is called the axis of rotation. The vertical axis passing through the point O about which the body turns is called the axis of rotation. Here it is given. This is axis of rotation, the diagram. Okay, students. In figure 3.3, we can see that on pushing the wheel, it begins to turn about its pivoted point O. It does not start to move. Similarly, when the handle of a door is either pushed or pulled, the door begins to turn about the hinges which hold the door at rest. It does not move from one position to another position. In case of door, we know that. When the handle of a door is either pushed or pulled, what will happen? The door begins to turn about the hinges which hold the door at rest. Okay, students. So thus we can say that a force, either push or pull, has a turning effect on a body which is not free to move in a straight line but is pivoted at a point about which it can turn. So we can say that a force has a turning effect on a body. A force has a turning effect on a body which is not free to move in a straight line but is pivoted at a point about which it can turn. So here we are going to discuss about factors affecting the turning of a body. Factors affecting the turning of a body. The turning effect of a force on a body depends on the following two factors. There are two factors. First one, the magnitude of the force applied. The magnitude of the force applied. Larger the magnitude of force applied, more is the turning effect on the body. If the magnitude of force applied is larger, the turning effect will be more. Another one factor, it is the perpendicular distance of the force from the pivoted point. The perpendicular distance of the force from the pivoted point. Larger the perpendicular distance of point at which the force is applied from the pivoted point, more is the turning effect on the body. Larger the perpendicular distance of point at which the force is applied from the pivoted point. We have discussed there in the figure 3.30. Oh, it was the pivoted point. Here it is, more is the turning effect on the body. Okay, students. Now we are going to discuss about some examples in daily life related to turning effect of the body. So here is a familiar example. To open or shut a door, what we are doing? We apply force. Either we push, otherwise we pull. Clear? To open or shut a door, usually we are doing. Clear? So we apply here, we can take it as we apply a force F normal to the door at its handle P. We apply a force F on the handle P, which is provided at the maximum distance from the hinge as shown in figure. Okay, you see here is the figure. See, here we can see that here is the handle, okay, handle P. Here 3 hinges are there, okay, 3 hinges. Okay, handle is fitted here. Okay, students. So what we are doing to shut or open a door, will apply a force on the handle P, which is provided at the maximum distance from the hinge as shown in figure. Now I have shown you. We can notice that if we apply the force at a point Q, much greater force is required. Where is the point Q? Here in the diagram, is it the middle? The middle we can see that here. If we apply force here, we need to apply more force than we applying here in the point P. Here in case of point Q, we have to apply more force than P. Okay, students. Much greater force is required to open the door, and if the force is applied at the hinge R, we will not be able to. Here, suppose that if you are applying the force on the point R, R is here only. Okay, R is here. Whether the door will open? If we apply more force also, sometimes the door will not open, or we are unable to shut the door also. So we have to apply force in point P only. Clear? Then only we can easily open or shut the door. So we can say that the handle P is provided near the free end of the door, so that a smaller force at a larger perpendicular distance produces the required turning effect of force to open or shut the door. So if we apply force on the point P, we can easily open or shut the door. Clear? Now our second example is hand floor grinder. You see the old one, clear, hand floor grinder. Now we are having the modern grinder, okay, but in this old one grinder, you just observe what is the scientific fact we can see here. The upper circular stone A, the upper circular stone A, where is A, you see here we can mark, here is the A, point A, clear. The upper circular stone, the point A, okay students. A of a hand floor grinder is provided with a handle H near its ring, so that it can easily be rotated about the iron pivot P at its center by applying a small force at the handle H. Okay. Where this handle is fitted? Here, at the end of the rim. At the end of the rim, the handle H is fitted. That's why it can easily rotate. That's why it can easily rotate. Another example, a potter's wheel. In a potter's wheel. In a potter's wheel has a wheel pivoted at the center. The potter turns the wheel by means of a stick at the rim of the wheel as shown in figure. Okay. Here also the handle is fitted here only at the end of the rim. So a potter can rotate the wheel very easily. Okay students. Now fourth one example, a carpenter. A carpenter uses a drill machine which is provided with a handle, so that by applying a less force at the end of handle, the drill can be turned very easily. Here you see. Okay. Now our fifth example is to turn a steering wheel. To turn a steering wheel, what we have to do? Where we are catching? We have to move the steering by its rim. To turn a steering wheel in a car or a truck, the driver applies force at a point on the rim of the wheel, not in the center point. If you touch the center point, if you try to turn the center point, it is very difficult. We have to turn the rim of the wheel as shown in the figure here. On the rim, we have to apply the force to rotate it. In a bicycle, to turn the wheel, the force is applied on the pedal, so that distance of force from the axle of wheel is increased. In the pedal, we have to apply the force by our foot, the pedal. Clear? The pedal, we have to apply the force to move the bicycle. Okay. Another one example here, a spanner is used to tighten or loosen a nut, we know that. Okay. It has a long handle to produce a large turning effect by a small force applied at the end. A spanner has a long handle. It is for what? It is for to apply a small force to do the work easily. A spanner used to tighten or loosen the nut. Okay, or what has a long handle to produce a large turning effect by a small force applied at the end of its handle. Here in the diagram you can see that the length of the handle. Okay. Now by these examples we can conclude the point that The turning of a body about the pivot depends not only on the magnitude of the force, but it also depends on the perpendicular distance of the force from the point of rotation. Larger the perpendicular distance, less is the force needed to apply there to turn the body. If the perpendicular distance is larger the perpendicular distance, less is the force needed to turn the body. Actually, the turning effect on a body depends on the product of both the magnitude of force and the perpendicular distance of force from the pivoted point. This product is called a moment of force. This product is called a moment of force or torque. In other words, we can say that a body turns or rotates about the pivoted point due to moment of force. A body turns about the pivoted point due to the moment of force. So, it is a time to wind up the session. Okay, students, tomorrow will come by the topic moment of force. Okay, students, so please go through today's topic and at least 5 times you have to read. Clear? If you have any doubt, you can ask to me when class starts. I will be with you. So till tomorrow, goodbye and have a nice day.